What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode number 2 of my Sorare Road to Glory. In today's episode, we're going to be going over how I did in game week 401 and going over some new club updates because there are a lot. I've made a lot of pretty substantial changes that I feel will really benefit me in the long run. So, yeah, let's get straight into it. As you can see here, not a good week for me at all, and one of the reasons why I decided to prompt changes, I'm still really new to the game, kind of experimenting with different things. So yeah, just gonna kind of see what we can do, and get on in future weeks. But overall, not great. Amateur, it is what it is. Way off getting any sort of reward here in Bundesliga. Ping Pong, they did win 3-0 away from home, just wasn't able to really do much. Of course, did get the clean sheet, but did get booked. And was just okay. Lost a lot of duels for whatever reason. I guess, out of curiosity, who's he matched up against? Leia Vober. Looks like Vober had a great game. Perhaps that's where the battle was lost. Yeah, interesting. But yeah, overall, I mean, it's pretty annoying when team wins 3-0, and I've got the one guy that's under 60 points, and not just under 60 points. I think the next lowest is 67.4, so quite a ways under everyone else. So that's pretty frustrating. But it is what it is. Ping Pong is a great player, we know that, and here it is. That's why 18 points. I'm in AA for attack. Attempted assists, big chances created, shots on target. We know that he can hit the scores required to do well in amateur, so that's okay. Kimmich, just not great. 48.4 points, was my captain at 72.6. You just expect more from this guy. Bayern won, but just wasn't able to impose himself. Same things for Coman and Haller. Haller, no goals. 1-1 against Bochum, not a great game. Cap 220 was a throwaway this week. I knew Nico Williams and Pelistri weren't going to play. Nketiah did grab a goal, which was really frustrating that I didn't use him in another team. I'm not sure why I did that. Kind of in hindsight, I knew this team was a throwaway. And I thought Nketiah was going to start. He didn't start. But my logic was still, I think he's going to start and score. And he didn't start, but he did score. So in hindsight, I probably should have used him in a different lineup. I don't regret not using him here for Vissa, but for Kramer. Because Vissa did miss a big chance, but for Kramer, I don't know enough about this guy to be able to really pick the lineups week in, week out. We can see here they got beat comfortably by NEC, so, is what it is. But yeah, I should have used Nketiah. I think my brain just kind of saw his last 15 as, whatever it is. Can you see that? Last 15 on Nketiah. As 36, and my brain just kind of goes, oh, I got to use all my points, and at 36 that should be in 220 because that's really low. The more I'm playing, the more I'm realizing that's kind of a dumb way to look at it. It's all about the matchups. Everyone's capable of scoring 1 through 100. And yeah, I just think it was a foolish mistake to play him there in a dead lineup ahead of players such as Kramer, who I don't know a lot about. But yeah, Ramsdale not great, had that horrible mistake in the first few minutes, and then Billing just came up against a Spurs team that are really performing, at least in the league. Today they did go out of the EFL Cup, so very disappointing if you're a Spurs fan, but I suppose that is the life of a Spurs fan. Cap 240, I'm pretty frustrated here. Again, Weissen and Kramer, both poor. Kilman, this is a great pickup. We talked about him last week. Really happy with that score. Of course, it's possible that this is not replicated very frequently. What's this AA without the Sorry, yeah, he got a good score with his clean sheet bonus, but without the clean sheet, it's 52. Let's say they concede, it's a little lower. I just don't know if he'll be able to replicate this week in, week out. I might actually consider selling him. I mean, the L15 is still very low. His floor has risen. Let's see. I bought him at 484. We're at above $6. Quick profit. I don't know. I don't know who I could get in with 45 L15. Playing in the Prem, a team that I can follow closely, know a lot about in Wolves. Plus, they're looking to make some decent moves in the market, so it could be that they get better. And Kilman can boost his scores. You know, he's a great player with the ball at his feet. Um, and if they sell Mateus Nunes, and can reinvest that money before the window ends, perhaps there's something there. But saying that losing Nunes, that's big for Wolves. I mean, that's a big loss. They're not going to be able to sign a player of equal quality. So I don't know. Jensen, Brentford were just disappointing this week overall. Jensen in particular, 71 minutes played, not really able to do much. But as you'll see later in the video, I am putting my eggs in the Brentford basket. Um, I believe in this team. I believe in Thomas Frank, so I'm willing to invest in Brentford. But yeah, 37 or 36 and 0.4 points off the cap. It's a little frustrating, especially when there's such low scorers here, like Vissa, for example. Had a great chance for Brentford that he couldn't put away. If he puts that away, we probably hit the cap. So that's frustrating. But it is what it is in Cap 240. I feel like I'm gonna get better at picking teams and be able to hit the threshold more often, especially because I've invested a lot in my gallery. There's really no excuse not to. So I feel like I'll improve off that. Cap 270. This was actually probably my best lineup of the week. So Soria played on the Monday. So I had Luis de Lucas, who I tipped this guy in the last episode. This guy is incredible. I got him for 167, and just look at the scores that he's putting up. Since the season started in game week 395 for Livingston, he's putting up monster scores, and look at the AA. I like when players have high AA because it kind of shows to me that it's not really a one-off. If you get a score of 83, you didn't really do much all game, but you got a decisive or two. Is that really long term? Is that going to work out? Well, for some players it is. If you've got a Holland, for example, and he touches the ball 10 times a game but gets a hat trick, that's a little bit better. But I like players like this with a super high AA and consistency as well. Even in a 4-0 defeat, I mean, to get a score like that, I don't actually know what a triple is, but possession wise, I mean, he's all over the place. He's an incredible player in Scotland. And there's a triple double. You know what? This is ridiculous. What is a triple double in soccer? Oh, here we go. At least 2 from all 3 categories. Okay, got it. Basically, he's had an incredible defensive performance, and he's been doing that consistently. I think he got it again here, so it's almost like a bonus on getting good interceptions and tackles. So, I mean, he's done it in a 0-0 draw. He's done it in a 4-0 defeat, and he's done it in a victory. I mean, these are incredible scores. I think this guy's almost a must-have for Cap 240. Hit the threshold, you'll see he will be in my 240 team. We're not going to really pick the team this week, or excuse me, in this episode. That'll come later. But he's just a must-have in my opinion. You could see there's the 87 points. He's just he's a guy that you can rely on. If he does it for 4 games in a row, then I think it's a serious captain option as well. If let's say I didn't use him in Cap 240. But yeah. That's it for him. Maffeo, 3-2 defeat. Played horribly. I watched some of this game. Really not good at all. And it's really frustrating because all he had to do was basically not be complete garbage, and I would have gotten a tier 5. Perhaps even a tier 4. That's only 5 points more, so it's really frustrating. But it is what it is. Gibbs White and Awani blitzed United in the first 5 minutes. I said last time I didn't really want to pick them because I am a United fan, but I just had a feeling that I didn't necessarily think we'd start that poorly, but I did think there'd be chances on the break. Because Casemiro's looked leggy, doesn't look entirely fit yet, just like the rest of the team. And they both produced, so very happy. This I'm not planning to expand the Nottingham Forest stack, just because if you look at the rest of the squad, there aren't that many consistent performers. It's kind of weird. You'll see I did pick up one new signing. We'll go over that later in the video. But I just think these are the 2 best assets to have. Even Brennan Johnson does not score well, and he's all consistently linked to bigger clubs. And if he goes there, I mean, does he start at Chelsea? Probably not. So yeah, I think these are the two best to have for Forest, and I really like Forest for the season. It's just they don't score well apart from these two. Champion Europe, this is where the biggest change is going to come in my lineup. You'll see it right after we go through the amateur teams as well. But overall, Magnan, 4-1 win. Annoying he didn't get the clean sheet. Really liked a clean sheet. And didn't make any saves either. It was just Milan dominated the entire time, and then boom, a goal. Really frustrating, but you know what happens. Is what it is with goalkeepers. Kunde just did an absolutely unbelievable Barca game. When it ends 4-3, none of the defenders are normally going to do well. Of course, Alonso did get a decisive, I believe. I believe he scored. Well, he got a triple as well. I feel like he scored. Oh, I guess he didn't. No, but he just played. He played well. Kept Terats quiet, as you can see here. Had to get him subbed off. But yeah, Barca actually played midfield and attack very well. Lamine Yamal, I mean, when this guy's cards come out, he's going to be unbelievably expensive. I mean, not really showing it yet, but we saw in preseason what he can do, and then this was his first real big performance. He was great against Cadiz as well, but really looks like a player in this match. De Jong, fantastic as usual, got a goal. March, Brighton, I don't know what the hell happened here, but this is the game, I guess. I captained him, performed really badly. The lineup was basically dead after that game. This was one of the Saturday matches, so that was frustrating. Loa actually didn't play well at all, but did get a goal, so that's okay. You'll see that actually was really beneficial to me. And the amateur teams, nothing crazy here. Klaus played well. Leon, nothing much to report there for Cherky. Or Tagliafico. La Liga Amateur, I had Kunde and De Jong. De Jong again, good score. Ramiro, great score. Aspas and Vinny both played against one another. Vinny went off injured, gonna have to do something about that. Not sure what my plan is for Vinny, but I guess I'll probably swap him out. My boy Benya got a assist against NYCFC, or sorry, New York Red Bulls. The Messi pass into him. I mean, you just cannot be that good, to be honest. Everyone else flopped. Mukhtar, horrific performance. They look tired after their League Cup run. Unlike Inter Miami, they don't have the unbelievable depth that we have at Nashville. So yeah, I think they're going to struggle against us. We play them tomorrow, so we'll see. And then really frustrated with Premier League Amateur. I mean, the way the lineup was, if Salah scores, that means Trippier concedes. So it's just frustrating. If Trippier sends in a good cross, gets an assist, that means Allison concedes. So it was just frustrating the way that worked out. Captain Rodri, obviously the call. He'll probably be that captain every week, but this lineup had a lot of potential. Awani gets the goal. Salah gets his assist. Trippier, I just wish he had a few more attacking returns. I mean, he had a lot here, as you can see, but I just wish maybe he took a few more shots, got Allison a few more saves, especially when Liverpool went down to 10 men. The opportunity was there, only 15 points away from a tier 5. Would have been really nice to win in amateur, but it is what it is. So now I think we'll go to my gallery and let's look at recent transactions. Okay. Where are we? Okay. So I have decided to get rid of the Barca stack. You can see Frankie and Loa have gone. I'm going all in on AC Milan. A few reasons. I'm not a Barca fan. I don't want to have my eggs in the Barca basket. I don't care about Barca. I don't want to watch Barca games. I love Milan. Probably my second favorite team in Europe. Distant second. I'm not one of these people that supports a bunch of different teams in a bunch of different leagues, but I've always liked Milan. I've been to San Siro. It's a lovely place. And they've got my guy Pulisic, Captain America. So picked him up for $65. If we look at his price now, it's kind of ridiculous. I think he's skyrocketing. Maybe you could flip him, but I don't want to do that. Yeah, there's my purchase price, and that's his floor right now. I mean, we'll see what actually happens. If anyone buys that high, but whoops, what did I just do? Let's go back. There's already been a sale at 75, so I could probably flip it, but I want him for this Roma match. I'm going to watch this Roma match. Really excited for it. Lukaku's going to play. It's going to be a great game. So yeah, picked him up. Decided to pick up a Nathan Collins. This goes into my second major change. I have a Brentford stack as well. You can see Collins, Flecken, Henry, to go alongside Vissa and Jensen. Collins, the reason why I picked him up, it's at L15 of 39. I paid way too much. Let's not make a mistake here. This was stupid. This was late night purchases. You can see there 12:30 in the morning. That was dumb. But I try not to worry too much about that. It's about the player that you're getting. Of course, it was a bad judgment at the time, midnight. But I'm hoping that he retains his place over Ben Mee. I know I talked about it. I actually have a Ben Mee. I got it at a good price. Let's actually check that real quick as well. Because it's either me or Nathan Collins. Nobody's getting in ahead of gosh, who's the other guy? Can't remember the other defender's name, but he scores fantastically well. For Brentford, the other center back. You can see here I got me at the dip. I knew he's going to come back and at least play somewhat of a role, and other people would recognize that. So, maybe if he gets up to 8, I'll just sell him. But of course, that would mean he's probably playing games, which point I'd want to keep him. So we'll make that decision later. The people are saying he's still not going to play yet. Reliability is low. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. I think Collins probably retains his spot against Bournemouth, and that's a great fixture that I think my stack can do really well in. So I'm really excited for that. Collins, great L15, great scorer. I'm really excited. You could see that I also got rid of March. I was thinking about doing a Brighton stack, but some of the key pieces are just overpriced. Stupinian does not score that well, and he's so expensive. It's just not worth it. Got rid of Kunde, got rid of Lewa at decent prices. What's going on here? Why is this in like a weird order? I guess this Tolkien sold late last night. What is this being sorted by? This does not feel like the right... Yeah, there we go. I don't know what that was a second ago. So yeah, I got in Flecken, Rico Henry, Collins. I got into Mori for the Milan stack, and then you can see here I sold De Jong and got a Kakare and some ETH. Kakare is an interesting one. He's at a really, really low price right now. I don't really understand it. If someone knows, I mean, I guess here it is. He started the season poorly. I mean, fair enough, but he's gonna bounce back. I mean, this is a guy who's got monster scores for Lyon. I'm just gonna wait for him to hit a good vein of form. Sell him for 50, 45 bucks. Just be happy with it. Might use him. He fits into a team. We'll see. But yeah, I just thought, I got a trade offer for it. The initial offer was all right. I upped the cash a little bit. And yeah, I just thought, that's a fun one. You get hold of a Kakare. Can't really complain about that. There was a time where, Kakare for Frankie would perhaps be a 1-to-1. Maybe a little bit of ETH, but, to get Kakare in 37 bucks, I think that's okay. Next up, you could see I got a Montiel really cheap, 230. He just signed for Forest. I just thought potentially Premier League starter. He's going to be in for Aurier. There's a couple nice pieces in that Forest attack, as we know, that I have. Just thought at 231, it's not a bad price. This guy was kind of clearing out his club. I picked up a Tamori from him at a very good price as well. If we go to that, let's just check on Fikayo Tamori. You could see here a little bit under the floor right now, but this was a very fair price. The listings at the time were not great. I'm happy with that. I also picked up a Roberto Gagliardini for probably Capsule 40, maybe one of the other cap modes. This is one of the guys I've been scouting. I've got kind of a watch list. Again, I'm looking for those high AAs. He did it in a 2-0 defeat against one of the best teams in the league. And a 2-0 victory against one of the worst teams in the league. So I think the potential is there for Roberto Gagliardini for Monza. With an L15 of 37, he'll be useful for a while. And then I'll just sell him, probably break even, make a little bit of ETH, and then just find a new guy. That's how Cap 240 works. So I'm really excited to do that. After that, Lewa did sell 75 bucks. I believe was a decent little, I mean, not a decent little profit. It was decent to profit off him, and that goes back to what I was saying about him scoring, which was very nice. A little bit of cash. I mean, we're talking like $6, but $6, whatever. I was just thinking to myself, I'll kind of go into my logic of the Barca stack a bit more. Why I got rid of it? I don't like Barca that much. Levo's 35. De Jong's a great player. Koundé's a great player. I just don't want to be watching Barca. I think Lowe is a key piece of the stack, and if you actually watch their games, he's kind of a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't really work. Kind of looks a little, it's just not quite in sync, and I just think in the long run, he's 35. He's not perfect in that system. Could eventually get replaced. Maybe he goes somewhere else and he skyrockets in price, goes to the MLS and scores every game. But just for the time being, I'd rather have the Milan stack, a bunch of young upcoming players. Pulisic, Tomori. I have the Magnan. And then we're going to look here at Giroud and Reiners. I mean, Giroud, obviously, that's kind of ironic that I talk about the age of Lewandowski, but Giroud's a fantastic scorer, and I like him a lot more in this Milan team. He's a better fit, if you know what I mean. Like it just works better on the field when you watch both teams. You could see I got him at an all right price, nothing crazy, but the floor is already up, sales are higher. And we'll talk about a potential other player I need to pick up for the Milan stack. Haven't done it yet, but we'll talk about it. And then I got Tijani Reinders in. This was his price is gonna fall. That's what I'm getting at here. I don't think these peaks are gonna happen at Milan. I mean, there's one already, but required a decisive. If we look, I mean, he was able to do it off pure AA against a team like RKC. I don't know. I mean, the bottom of Serie A can get quite poor, but is he really going to be able to put up a 57 AA in Serie A? I don't know. I'm just not sure. His price is probably going to fall. I mean, then again, it already has a bit. If we go to the 3-month here. Oh, maybe I'm making that up. It hasn't really. He's as high as he's ever been. So yeah, I think this was kind of a foolish purchase, but he's just needed for the stack. He's the only nail-on midfielder, apart from Pulisic. And with Benacer coming back, who I am actively looking to pick up, actually might want to check some of the offers I've sent on that. It's still out right now. Might actually just look, see if anyone's listed one for lower. When Benacer comes back, he's going to be the starter next to Reinders. That seems to be the case from what I've heard from Milan fans. At 9.24 here, I might pick this up. Or at 9.34. Actually, I might buy this right now. Extra 20 cents or 10 cents. Yeah, and he goes towards my collection bonus. We're actually going to do this right now. Boom. There it is. Benacer's just joined the club. Let's cancel that other offer. I'm not going to sweat it over 14 cents. Who cares? I know in the long run it does matter to an extent, but for now, let's not sweat it. Okay, so there's Benacer. When he comes back from injury, he's a fantastic player. Let's go to him. I really like watching this play as well. I like his FIFA card. I like watching him play in real life. I just think he's a great player. And he's a good scorer. These are just good scores. At the price, 9.28, really cannot complain about that at all. And I think this Milan team is only getting better. So I think he's going to play a decent role. And he's just a player I can rotate in and out, goes towards the collection bonus. If injuries picked up one way or another. He's just a good player to have. And that brings me into the next piece of the puzzle, which you've probably seen here. Mehdi Taremi is looking like he will be signing for Milan. I mean, the jokes do write themselves. This stuff is ridiculous, but, whatever. I've been unable to gauge. I mean, obviously he's a great scorer for Porto. There's me, by the way. He's a great scorer for Porto, no doubt about it. I would assume he and Giroud share minutes. And because of that, I think he's probably essential for my stack. Let's go to him. In the beginning, it'll probably be unclear, but once it is clear who's the starter and who's not, or for certain games, I just think a guy who scores this well. Of course, the quality in Serie A is higher, but that Milan team is good. They create chances. Giroud doesn't have to do a high amount of chance creation on his own. You've got Leao, Pulisic. Reinders is a very good attacking weapon. I just think that, the chances are going to come to Taremi, and he can finish chances. There's no doubt about it. So I think he's kind of essential for the stack. So I might actually put in an offer on one. Probably not on stream. I'll look around and see what we got going on here. I don't have enough for someone like Taremi. I'll probably find one of these guys, put an offer in. I just think it's essential, and his price is plummeted because obviously he's going to a lesser or a more difficult league. He's not going to be able to maintain these scores. Blah 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 blah. If I could get him in this patch right here of pricing, I'm very happy with that. Very happy with that. I mean, basically at a secular low, almost an all-time low. Let's see. I mean, an all-time low for Mehdi Taremi transferring to a new Milan team. I think this is a pickup that I have to make. So yeah, I'll probably work on that. We may as well open our rewards. All we got were coins. I actually pulled the Champion Europe team to sell Lewandowski, and Kunde and De Jong, so we didn't even get the coins for that, but whatever. It is what it is. I'm trying to think if we covered anything. I think we probably have. We've gone over my lineups. We're gonna do the weekend lineups in the next video. And like, who did first place in Prem have? He had Gross, scored a great goal. Romero, Alphonse Areola, Anderson had a monster game. I was thinking about the Palace stack as opposed to the Brentford stack. I'm just worried about Palace a bit though. Not entirely convinced that what they're doing is sustainable. I mean, they were lucky to get the goal. It was a lucky goal from Anderson. Just really dumb goalkeeping. It's so difficult because at one moment it's like, oh, Brentford are the real deal, and then they go 1-1 against Palace, and both these teams have great players. Eze on one side, Vissa and Buemo on the other, Jensen. Ethan Pinnock, that was his name. Forgot his name. Pinnock might be essential for the Brentford stack, but Collins, I feel like, can get Pinnock scores, as we've seen here, for a much cheaper price and L15. Janel Norgard, or I think lesser to Jensen. Bumo, I just think the problem with him is the L15 is too high for me, for what I want to play this Brentford team. And you could see, actually, we'll go into my lineup builder. I have actually assembled some of it. We can just look at the preliminary stuff I've done so far. Champion Europe, it's going to be the Milan stack. I was thinking about who to captain. Is Reinders going to be able to impose himself on this game? Roma have a lot of good midfielders. Awar got a goal recently. Just a lot of great players. Pulisic, is he going to score again? I don't know. He's already got 2 in a row. It's just not great to bet on him to do a third, I would think. Giroud could score or get an assist. Magnan could have a good game. I don't know. I just think Tomori might be the safest. The war against interesting is my cap team. So cap 270, I've gone with the Forest boys. They don't have a great game against Chelsea at all. Chelsea away. Chelsea aren't great. We know that. And yeah, I did keep Solly March. I know I said I might have sold him. That's when I was like, wait a second, this transaction history isn't right. I didn't sell him. I still have him. And he's a good cap 270 player, obviously. I mean, he's going to score well. Newcastle, home, difficult match. But, if Brighton play well, he plays well. So, we'll see. Soria away against Real Madrid. I mean, you get, the more you look at this, the more it's kind of a throwaway lineup. I mean, Soria, I guess the one saving grace is Real Madrid don't have any true finishers right now. Hasalu, I don't know if he's fit. Certainly hasn't been starting. Vinny's out, so Real Madrid might be a bit more blunt. Of course, they have Bellingham, but Soria, I mean, it's one of those games where, Getafe, they pull up, they park the bus, Soria makes a bunch of saves. It's possible. Gets a high score. Maffeo at home against Bilbao. Better game here, but again, I mean, we're just hoping for something, which probably isn't going to happen for Maffeo. So it's kind of a throwaway lineup here in Cap 240 limited, or Cap 270. Sorry, just seeing who I have available. Billing is the one who I haven't been able to work into a lineup. Him and Kramer. And I do have a Kakare. But he's playing PSG, so do I use him instead of March? And I don't have enough room to get him in for Gibbs White. I just don't think he fits in this week, unfortunately. Cap 240, I'm really confident here. Bournemouth at home. I've got everyone in. Jensen, Flecken, Rico Henry, Vissa. This should hit the threshold if they perform, and it should get a reward if they perform, of course. That's the thing about, using a stack in 240. 240, you want to kind of guarantee yourself the threshold, and if they don't perform, they're probably not going to hit threshold. So it's very risk reward. I want to risk it for the reward. I think this is a perfect game week. Bournemouth made a lot of good signings, but Brentford, it's a home game. I just think that this should work. And the points tally, it's a lot of good players. As I was talking about with Nathan Collins' last 15, to kind of squeeze in here into Cap 240. I just have a good feeling about this lineup. And then Cap 220, Kevin Trapp had a really poor last game, but good matchup against Cologne at home. Kilman away to Palace. It's not a bad fixture. It's not a great fixture, but, I do like Kilman a lot. Confident that he could do something. Gagliardini, this is one of the guys who, should I be using him in 240? The answer, probably, but I really am going for that Brentford blitz against Bournemouth. It's probably more logical, more safe to put him in. Gagliardini appears to be a safe scorer, at least based on his first 2 games, which of course don't indicate any future performance, but I'd like to say that he could perform well. Jensen, the ceiling is a lot higher. He's got goals and assists in him, so, that's the game we play. Same thing goes for De Lucas. And even in Nketiah, although against United, I know we're poor at the moment, but this is a difficult fixture. But they are at home, so, these 3 in another world, another day, probably a lot safer to put them in the 240 team. Especially De Lucas, I think he's nailed for high scoring every week. And I might actually chicken out, take Henry out, but at the same time, it's like, if I'm not playing Rico Henry at home to Bournemouth, when am I going to play him? I don't know. I'll just have to think on it, particularly De Lucas and Gagliardini, less so Nketiah for this week, but should these 2 be in my 240 team? Let me know in the comments if you want to. They've both got great L15s. That would be very easy to fit them in. Particularly De Lucas. I mean, his peaks are so high, so consistent. Oof. Do I take out Henry? I think is the one. Collins scores a bit better than Henry, unless Henry gets a decisive. It's a difficult one. I don't know. It's something I'm gonna have to think on. We'll see. Let me know in the comments if you have any opinions either way. But other than that, what are we, about 35 minutes in the episode? If you made it this far, really appreciate it, and stay tuned in the next one.